Right now, underneath the manicured grass of your American lawn, a subterranean army is marching toward your foundation with one goal: to turn your biggest investment into sawdust. Most homeowners think the solution is to call a massive chemical company to spray liquid poisons that seep into the water table and linger near your pets and children for decades. But after 45 years of working in the trenches of home maintenance and studying the old-world agricultural secrets of East Asia, I have realized that the American pest control industry is built on a cycle of dependency that ignores the biological reality of the soil. There is a permanent barrier system that involves burying 4 specific organic items in your yard that creates a frequency of repulsion so powerful that termites will literally turn around and head for the woods. We are talking about termite-proofing your home for the price of a cup of coffee, using biostatic principles that the big chemical giants have tried to bury for years. Today, I am showing you exactly how to shield your perimeter, the forbidden garden logic that keeps Japanese temples standing for 1,000 years without a single drop of pesticide, and how you can activate your soil to become a self-defending fortress that is completely safe for your golden retriever and your toddlers. The reason your home is delicious to termites isn't just because it's made of wood. It's because the American suburban model has sterilized the soil. When we build a house, we strip the topsoil, compact the earth, and kill the natural biodiversity. This creates a vacuum. In nature, there are beneficial fungi and essential oils in the ground that act as a natural deterrent. Without them, your house is like a giant buffet table set in the middle of an empty room. The industry wants it this way because a sterile yard requires constant intervention. They want to sell you a termite bond that costs $300 a year for life. But by burying these 4 items, you are restoring the barrier and reinstalling the security software that nature intended. The first item you need to bury is biochar augmented with cedar oil. This is the foundation of the shield. In the old-world Japanese Sumi tradition, charcoal was buried around the cornerstones of important buildings. Charcoal, or biochar, is incredibly porous at a microscopic level. It acts as a battery for whatever you load it with. When you soak this charcoal in high-grade cedar oil and bury it every 6 feet around your foundation, you are creating an olfactory wall. Termites navigate through pheromones and scent trails. Cedar contains cedrol, a natural compound that scrambles the sensory receptors of subterranean wood-eaters. To them, the scent of cedar doesn't just smell bad, it erases the map. They cannot find your house because the scent profile of the wood is drowned out by the natural repellent. And because the biochar holds onto the oil, it doesn't wash away in the rain. It stays in the soil, pulse-releasing that barrier for years. The second item is raw copper mesh fragments. This is where biophysical logic comes into play. We have known for centuries that certain metals have an oligodynamic effect, which is a fancy way of saying they are naturally repellent to subterranean microorganisms. When a termite scout tries to tunnel through a zone where copper ions are present in the moisture film of the soil, it experiences biological static. It feels incorrect to their exoskeletons. By burying small nests of copper mesh near your entry points, like where your plumbing pipes enter the slab, you are electrifying the perimeter without using a single volt of electricity. It is a physical deterrent that never expires. The copper doesn't break down into the groundwater like synthetic toxins. It simply stays there as a permanent sentry that says no entry to anything with a mandible. Why does the pest control monopoly hate this? Because they can't patent a piece of copper or a bucket of charcoal. They want you to use phytochemicals that require reapplication. If you bury the shield, you are exiting the market. You are no longer a customer. You are a sovereign homeowner. In the genealogy of modern problems, we often find that the best solutions were forgotten simply because they weren't profitable enough to be marketed on television. Bringing back the old-world metal barrier is an act of rebellion against the disposable maintenance culture. The third item is the stunning secret of diatomaceous earth pods. Imagine a powder made of microscopic glass shards from fossilized algae. To a human or a pet, this feels like soft flour. To a termite, it is a field of razor blades. The American mistake is to sprinkle this on the surface of the damp ground where it gets clumped and useless. The Japanese master method is to encase the powder in a biodegradable cellulose pod, literally a paper bag, and bury it deep where the termites actually travel. As the termites chop through the cellulose, they release the glass shards onto themselves. It desiccates their joints and deters the colony from advancing. It is zero toxicity mechanical control. No poisoning, just geometry. You are weaponizing the soil with organic fossils. The fourth item, and the most philosophically deep, is mycelium-infused wood stakes. In the Pacific Northwest and parts of East Asia, gardeners have noticed that certain fungi are the natural enemies of the wood-eating colony. By burying stakes that have been inoculated with Metarhizium and Isopliae, you are deploying a reconnaissance team. These beneficial fungi do not hurt your plants or your grass, but they are highly repellent to termites. It creates a biological conflict zone. When a scout encounters this fungus, it signals the queen that this territory is occupied by a dominant biological force. The colony will shift its direction away from your property line and back toward the neutral forest. This is biomimicry at its finest. You aren't attacking the termites. You are renegotiating the boundary. The stunning reality of the American suburban yard is that we have taught pests that our houses are safe zones. We irrigate the foundation, which provides the moisture they need. We plant mulch right against the siding, which provides the food. We remove the competition by spraying broad-spectrum chemicals. When you bury the four items, you are ending the invitation. You are restoring the friction. A healthy yard should be a difficult place for a tunneling insect to navigate. By layering the scent of cedar, the static of copper, the geometry of diatoms, and the force of fungi, you are creating a four-dimensional security system that operates in silence. If you look at the architecture of ancient temples in Kyoto, some of which have stood for 1,200 years, you don't find pressure-treated pine. You find hinoki and sugi woods, often set on stone bases with charcoal and ash buried in the underfloor voids. They understood permeability. They didn't try to seal the world out with plastic barriers. They balanced the soil so the insects stayed in the forest and the house stayed in the sun. The American model has failed because we try to overpower nature with chemistry. The old world model succeeds because it directs nature with intuition. Let's talk about safety. If you have a toddler who digs in the dirt or a dog who buries bones, synthetic pesticides are a constant source of anxiety. The four items I'm telling you to bury are food-grade or mineral-based. If your dog digs up a copper mesh nest, the worst case is a dirty paw. If they lick the cedar-infused biochar, it's just carbon and oil. This is true peace of mind. You shouldn't have to choose between a solid house and a safe yard. The chemical industry has framed this as a necessary sacrifice. But after 45 years of investigating flow and integrity, I can tell you that the sacrifice is a lie. The burying technique is also surgically precise. You don't have to tear up your landscape. You use a garden auger, a long drill bit, and make small holes every 6 feet along the drip line of your roof. You drop the items in, cap them with soil, and forget them. It takes one afternoon. You are setting a trap that isn't a trap, but a signpost. You are communicating with the subterranean world in a language they understand. You are saying, this wood is guarded. Why does American mulch invite disaster? Most homeowners go to the big box store and buy red-dyed hardwood mulch. This is basically termite candy. It is ground-up waste wood that has been sterilized of its natural resins and dyed with inorganic pigments. It has zero defense. When you put that against your foundation, you are building a highway for the infestation. The 3-minute method for mulch safety is to mix your mulch with cedar shavings and crushed stone. But the real defense happens 6 inches down where the colony lives. That is where you bury the truth. The history of pest control in the US is a tale of escalation. We used chlordane in the 50s, which was so stunningly toxic it was banned globally. Then we moved to organophosphates. Now we use neonicotinoids. Each new generation of poison is marketed as safer, yet the cancer rates and environmental decline tell a checkered story. The Japanese master plumbers and gardeners I studied with laughed at our chemistry sets. They said, why use a bomb when you can use a mirror? The cedar and copper are the mirror. They reflect the problem back to its source. The stunning part is the longevity of the berry system. A chemical barrier breaks down as bacteria in the soil consume the molecules. Within 3 to 5 years, the protection is gone. Biochar and copper, however, are structurally stable for decades. The cedar oil might need a refresh every 5 years, but the sponge that moves it, the charcoal, remains in place forever. You are building a monument to defense. You are investing in time rather than transactions. As an old-school tradesman, I've seen the panic when a homeowner finds mud tubes on their sill plate. The first thing they do is hand over their credit card to the guy in the white van. I want you to take a breath. If you have tubes, you need active treatment, yes. But if you want to never see a tube again, you need passive resistance. The Berry system is your long-term policy. It works while you sleep. It works during the rain. It works during the winter when the poison sprays are dormant. It is constant architecture. The genealogy of the home should be additive, not subtractive. We should be adding life to the soil to protect the structure. In the old world, they understood that a biologically active yard is the best defense for a wooden home. The 4 items provide structure for good bacteria and good fungi to thrive. They recruit the local ecosystem to join the fight. You aren't alone against the termites. You have thousands of micro-allies defending your foundation. The DNA of American homeownership is currently rooted in fear. We are scared of leaks, scared of mold, and scared of pests. This fear is the fuel for the maintenance industry. When you learn the science of repulsion, the fear dissipates. You realize that termites are just part of the system, and they have a job to do, which is breaking down dead wood. You are simply telling them that your house is not dead wood. You are reclassifying your property as a forbidden zone. This is clarity. This is power. Looking at the mid-century engineering of termite shields, we used to install metal flashing over the sill. Over time, builders got lazy and skipped the flashing, replacing it with spray-on chemicals. We traded a permanent physical barrier for a temporary chemical one. By burying the copper mesh in biochar, you are reinstalling that physical shield in the soil level where it belongs. You are correcting the architectural laziness of the modern builder. The true truth of pest control is that prevention is invisible. You will never see the termites that didn't enter your home. You will never get a bill for the damages that didn't happen. This makes it hard to sell, which is why plumbers and exterminators don't talk about it. They profit from disaster, not from quiet success. But after 45 years of fixing the disasters, I'm much more interested in the quiet success. I want your grandkids to live in that house without the foundation crumbling. If you commit to the 4 items, you are voting for a new way of living with your environment. You are rejecting the war on the soil and embracing the language of limits. You are drawing a line in the dirt and enforcing it with organic logic. This is the way of the master. It is elegant, it is inexpensive, and it is stunningly effective. So get your charcoal, find your copper, prepare your pods, and inoculate your stakes. Walk your perimeter like a guardian. Bury the resistance. And then, relax. Listen to the sound of the rain and know that your foundation is wrapped in an ancient shield. The termites will march elsewhere. Your pets will run through the grass in safety. And your American home will stand as a testament to old world wisdom in a modern world. Respect the soil, defend the wood, and trust the barrier. The truth is underneath you, and it is stronger than any chemical ever forged in a factory. Stay safe, stay smart, and let the earth protect the hearth. The colony has no power against the integrated shield. Use this knowledge and reclaim your yard today. Use nature's own tools to silence the grind of the invaders. Your house is your temple. Bury the guardian and live in peace.